So for more on these international concerns, these geopolitical headlines, and how they might affect 2020 for the stock market, I want to bring back Monica and Scott. And, you know, Monica, if you look at the headlines, there was a piece in Axios talking about the insane news cycle of 2019, from the government shutdown to the U.S.-Mexico border crisis to the U.S.-China trade war to Huawei to Mueller to recession to the General Motors strike to the California wildfires and finally Baby Yoda. None of this seems to have slowed the market down, although there were periods throughout the year where the market was paying attention and wasn't acting too great.
Well, I think for all of the risk that we saw in 2019, we're seeing some of those risks getting sidelined, at least as far as the market and the economy is concerned. Not just here, but also in the UK. They've finally come to an agreement with Brexit. The UK will be leaving the European Union by the end of January, and the rest of the year will be a grace year. So, you know, you saw actually a huge amount of private investment on the sidelines, people sitting in cash because of all this uncertainty with trade, because of all these agreements that our world leaders couldn't get to. And now you're going to see more positive investment and momentum in 2020. You
know, Scott Lucas said that the White House or the administration didn't seem too concerned about those military drills. The market seems to be yawning as well. But, you know, that's an important region in the world. And you've got to believe that in 2020, an election year, we're going to get some pretty crazy headlines and some pretty crazy stories.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll test Trump's mettle as much as they can, Charles. And you mentioned, I mean, yeah, I agree. Maybe nobody's really that concerned about it now. But those three players are major players to keep an eye on, especially if they're working together in some sort of collusion, because that would be one way they could definitely ruffle the U.S. So I think going forward, you know, as we heard in the report, we heard words like friendship, working together, things like that, peacetime. Those all sound great, but I'll believe it when I see it with those three countries involved. They mentioned the attacks. I mean, the attack on the Japanese tanker in the Strait of Hormuz some 6 months ago was absolutely insane, considering that there were Japanese delegates some 40, 50 miles away from that tanker when they attacked it. So there's really no discretion over there in the Straits of Hormuz when it comes to attacks from foreign powers. So to me, let's just see how things pan out, but let's keep a close eye on what's going on over there.
Let's talk about the provocation or the provocative acts of some of these well-known actors, right? So, you know, to Scott's point, Iran did a lot of things that were almost head-scratchers, you know, pushing the envelope with respect to the United States, goading or attempting to goad President Trump into some sort of military action. We were supposed to get a Christmas gift, if you will, from Kim Jong-un. We haven't, but there's no doubt he wants attention. He may do something really crazy. And if he shows the ability to have to pinpoint an ICBM or to miniaturize a nuclear warhead, I don't know that we're just only going to do sanctions, and that's got to worry market watchers.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing that I would layer into this is if we go into 2020 with a strong economy and there aren't a lot of dings that Dems can throw on Republicans as far as markets or the economy are concerned, they're going to go after all of these geopolitical ideas that the world is becoming crazy, it's not safe, and here we have this leader who's adding to this climate. So you're absolutely right with these headlines, and there's going to be a lot of chatter in all of these areas next year, for sure.
So tell me your greatest concern then for the market this year. I mean, obviously you sound like you've seen the momentum carries us into 2020. The underlying fundamentals appear to be strong. Almost everyone agrees that earnings will be higher next year. You can debate how much higher. So what would be your number one concern?
I think my number one concern right now is how is the market and the economy going to perform when you just don't have as many aids and stimulus as we saw in 2019? What's underlying, what's beneath all of this? And I think you're going to see more of that next year. And I think to what extent are we going to rattle a stable and happy consumer with all of the mudslinging that's inevitable next year?
All right, Monica, Scott, thank you both very much. Appreciate it. Folks, later in the show.